in the game that was the battle of the, as once called, the Staples Center, now the Crypto.com Center. It was the Battle of LA. Uh, it was a very competitive game. Now, let me say this: the LA Clippers seemed like they were running away with this game, but there was an 18 point lead comeback by the Lakers, but they fell short, and the Clippers were able to defeat the Lakers 111 to 110, led by Bobby Smurder, aka Reggie Jackson, who had a 25 point outing. Now, Marquise Morris was the leading scorer. He had 29, 7 and 3. But I think that the most important uh, player by far was Reggie Jackson, because he was the one that pretty much sealed the deal, and also Serge Ibaka chipped in with 20. Uh, for the Lakers, we know what took place. Anthony Davis, man, had a monster game, 30 points and 17. He just could not get that shot to go. Um, Listen, also, let me, before I say something, Malik Monk, I'm going to talk about him in a whole nother segment, because I've talked about Malik Monk time and time again. Very important player as well. And Russell Westbrook has 17, 4, and 6. Now, let me say this, okay? Anthony Davis and the rest of the crew, if they play like this, and I'm talking about, towards the end of the game, if they really play like this and they really do what's necessary to come back. Now, not all the time, but I'm saying during the stretch of games, knowing that they don't have LeBron, they could actually be pretty competitive. It's just a matter now of finishing. Now, of course, defensively is always going to be it's always going to be a question with them and everything. But they scored 28 points in that fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? And it was that comeback in which they were able to lead that charge and make a push to actually finish the game. And if they would have came back, that would have told you something right there. But people got to start taking the Clippers seriously. I already said that the Clippers can be a sleeper. They're nothing to be played with, and even though that they don't have their two superstars, because we know that Kawhi Leonard is not, he's not going to be, he's likely not to come back, and then of course Paul George's status is uncertain as well. It's like Ty Lue said, they have to play as if those guys aren't coming back, and that's pretty much how they played last year. The only difference was is that Paul George was actually there, you know. Um, Now, let me also say this too. And I said I was going to talk about Malik Monk a little bit later, but Malik Monk, man, is just an important player on that team. I feel like him and Stanley Johnson don't get get the Malik Monk and Stanley Johnson. They just don't get enough credit for what they do. The reason why I talk about Malik Monk is because he does a lot of things in terms of his playmaking, as well as his scoring and as well as his athleticism that don't get looked at, and his defense. Now, some people they criticize his defense, especially earlier in the year. He gives a better effort than a lot of those guys that are on him. But collectively, as a team, they still got to get better defensively in terms of the Lakers. The Clippers were spot on it. These guys are playing as if they don't have nothing to lose, which is how you should play, considering that you know your two superstars are gone. Now, I know Reggie Jackson took a lot of criticism because he's more of a scoring guard, combo guard rather than a point guard. But the important thing is that he came in when he absolutely needed to. And this is my last point too. The thing about Reggie Jackson that you got to give him his flowers on, no homo, is the fact that he plays big in 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 big games. And I think that him being around a guy like Rondo for a while, it helped him emerge a lot. He's really matured and he's weathered the storm really good. Reggie Jackson did take a lot of criticism going all the way back to Detroit. Then, of course, in OKC, he took some criticism here and there. But overall, man, a good, dramatic game, competitive. It's always going to be, especially when you talk about the Battle of LA, though. So, y'all let me know what you think, man. Leave your comments, like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'm going to get at you later.